Today on the channel, we roll the dice and head to Vegas as it's Christmas morning for wrestling figure fans, as today we're covering all the WWE Mattel Wrestlemania reveals.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel reveals video. And today we've got Christmas morning as we got all the WrestleMania reveals from the WWE world and from, of course, Mattel. And we're going to cover everything that's been announced here today on Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday still. Depending on your watch, this could be Friday. Wanted to get this reveal video out. Obviously, reveals throughout the day. Thanks to our friends over there at the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Ringside Collectibles as well. Grabbed a lot of images off of their Instagram and their social channels, so check them out, of course. But a lot of stuff to dive into here today, a lot of stuff to dissect. And if you guys missed it, I did do a special video where I did say, here's 10 figures I hope to see at WrestleMania revealed. And man, I was playing pretty good, and I didn't have any kind of firsthand knowledge. Nobody said that in the comments yet, but somebody will say, well, you knew about it. I didn't know anything. I just went in with my heart and my mind and maybe a dash of my soul, maybe something like that. But we're going to dive into everything here today. And now we will have updates throughout the weekend. Of course, I'll have toy news on Saturday. Anything I miss here or anything that is newly announced, we'll cover that, of course, in the toy news. So stay tuned for that as well. Subscribe to the channel, all that kind of fun stuff. But let's dive in, and let's dive into the first thing I saw. Now, today was a rough day for me. I had meetings all day. I had stuff all going on at work. So here I am today, kind of just barely digested this stuff. And maybe I still haven't. And coming through this with my handy-dandy iPad right here helped me digest a lot of this. But let's dive into it. And man, oh man, how about this one? It is the year of He-Man and the Masters Universe. I talked about that at Mattel Creations Revealed. That is my first love in action figure form. And I talked about it, recapping a little bit of my experience. I said how I talked to Steve Ozer, and I said, man, you guys should think of a line called like the Masters of the WWE Universe. It'd be a perfect tie-in with this being the He-Man year. And Steve just said, oh, he kind of grinned and said, yeah, I know, right? Well, obviously he knew all about this, but here we are about 6 weeks later. What is time once again? Where they did announce the resurgence of the Masters of the WWE Universe line. Going to be very interesting how this goes here. I'm not sure if I love the figures we saw so far out of this, and we're going to dive into it right now. Might as well. Why wouldn't we? But we did see the Fright Zone, I guess, is what it's going to be. The Fright Zone ring. Obviously, the Fright Zone for the Masters Universe. But it looks like that's going to come with Too Bad-inspired Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Going to force people to maybe buy multiples of this one. I see what you did there. I see what you did. Now, the Outsiders having two heads like Too Bad. I see how they got that going there. And I guess you could have put almost any tag team there. It is what it is. So we got that coming. I'm not a huge fan of that one, in all honesty. And Too Bad, it's weird. He was never a big character in my universe, but there's a lot of people that want Too Bad. There's a lot of Masters fans a little upset, like, oh, I see. You can't give it to us in Origins. We've been waiting for years, but now you give it for the Masters WWE Universe. Is what it is, I guess. But we got Scott Hall and Kevin Nash as Too Bad, we'll call it. We also saw Cody Rhodes as Battle Armor He-Man. That makes a lot of sense. He-Man and Cody. And once again, Cody, good friend of the channel, as we know. Huge Masters fan. That's how I first ever talked to Cody. Talking Masters collection, stuff like that. So he's got to be pretty happy about this one for him. And then we saw a Hordak NWO-inspired Hulk Hogan. That'll go good with the Macho Man once upon a time. So we did see that coming through. We also saw the Heartbreak Kid. Is he supposed to be Bo from She-Ra? Oh, that's a decent fit for the time frame. I was never a She-Ra guy, not a Bo guy, but it does make a little bit of sense. And then we see Prince Adam Bray Wyatt. I would have to get the Origins Prince Adam figure in front of me to compare with that Bray Wyatt. Did they just swap the heads? That might be the easiest re-release of all time. But we got that coming around. And I guess it makes sense. Once again, Bray Wyatt's going to be normal Bray Wyatt and then turns into the Fiend, turns into whatever you want, the Muscle Man, things like that. So we got some options with that. Very interesting to see. And then we saw some future prototypes. Look like The Rock is coming back to the Masters WWE Universe once again. Is that going to be his third figure, or did he only have one before? It was a good one. It came with a title belt, but we got him coming back. And this one looks to me like Demolition. Is that Demolition? Is it going to be a 3-pack, 3 individual figures, most likely? Thought that was very interesting to see how that worked there. But you know they're going to get the most out of their molds on Demolition. They're going to get the most out of their contract with Demolition. And they really feel like a team that could fit into the Masters WWE Universe. So I would say out of everything I saw today, that was probably the biggest surprise for me. I didn't think that line was coming back. Like I said, I joked with Steve about it just a month plus ago. But it does make sense. It is the year of Masters Universe. Why wouldn't WWE Mattel try to capitalize on some of those sales? Because as we always say, it's about the money. Follow the money at the end of the day. Mattel wants every dollar from your wallet. We know how they are. We know how they are. But that 2-in-1 nature of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash does perturb me a little bit there. I don't need multiple rings, but I want to display them as Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Too Bad. So you're forcing us to buy multiples here. We'll see where that ends up going. Diving into it, here's another great one. You know me, I'm just a classics guy, which in turn makes me a Legends guy as well. Love the Legends line, and this one is straight fire here. It looks like we got the Hart Foundation. Now, I haven't predicted them lately, but every year for San Diego Comic-Con, Wrestlemania, I always do a video of what I want to see. In the past, I have had this. I always loved the basic Hart Foundation in the black and blue. Always thought that was a great 2-pack. We're finally getting him in an elite form. I thought that day would come eventually. Here it is. Perfect for the Legends line. Can't wait to dive into those figures. And then it looks like Jimmy Hart, of course, their manager, is going to be the Build-A-Figure there. Now that Jimmy Hart, I'm not sure if that's actually... Gosh, that's a new Jimmy Hart, though, in the head sculpt department. And new glasses, it looks like. It does look really good. I'm not sure if that's from that actual era. It must be. I mean, that would make sense if you do the math on that. So... we'll see where that goes, but Jimmy Hart is a Build-A-Figure. He's been one before. That's what we want out of Build-A-Figures. Get us different looks for managers, and let's be honest, Jimmy Hart's got a lot of looks to use, so that's pretty darn cool. The return of the Great Muta. You know me, I'm a Muta guy. Give me all the Great Mutas. We weren't sure after the retro where we'd go with Great Muta. We got a re-release Ultimate Greatest Hits around the corner. We'll talk about that later on. But this one in the blue and black attack, looking good and fits perfectly once again in the Legends line. A lot of reuse out of this one, though, as you can imagine. Got to get the most out of your molds. We know how that goes. But give me all the Great Mutas. Looks like only one head. Would have loved to seen another head with this. Is what it is. And then Rocker Shawn Michaels. Man, oh man. So good, but also so disappointing at the same time because we don't have Marty Jannetty. It just never feel so fulfilled with just one half of the Rockers. But at the same time, it's such an important part of a lot of people's Shawn Michaels fandom and Shawn's career. We need these Shawn Michaels as a rocker figure. It's just really disappointing we can't get Marty Jannetty. Is what it is, but a classic look. Can you just imagine if we had Marty to go with that? Man, oh man. But I do like that Shawn Michaels. Does look really good. Very excited for that Legends line. But man, oh man, one of the biggest surprises and something I've been screaming about forever. When are we going to get Dory Funk Jr.? And I didn't even know he had a Legends contract. I don't know if anybody did know that. But apparently he does, and we got a Dory Funk Jr. finally coming. I've been wanting a Dory figure forever. I thought for sure KWK was the only one that would ever come through for me. We know about Power Town. Todd, you ever heard of Power Town? Let me fill you in from the couch. Todd knows all about it. He's been there. You've been by my side. But we know the Power Town shenanigans for the last 5 years or so. I don't think I'm ever going to see that Dory Funk Jr. And then KWK with their retro line swooped in and saved young Kyle and said, I'll give you a Dory ×3. We'll still get that one probably first, but I'm very excited to get a Legends Dory Funk Jr. Now, he is behind a paywall in a lot of ways. He is the Build-A-Figure, and I put my business hat on. I love Dory Funk Jr. I like Terry Funk a heck of a lot more, but I needed Dory Funk Jr. represented in my collection. This is amazing, but I also understand it. You think Dory would sell very well on his own. It's not going to happen. I hate to say it. I hate it. It's just not going to happen. So him as a Build-A-Figure is a great way to get him in the line. I am all here for it. I wouldn't be opposed to trying to find another one to build it and use a Terry Funk head, because now I'm like, why can't I have a Terry Funk to match this Dory Funk? Now, Bill McKean is a big Terry Funk guy like myself. I am hoping maybe the next series we get a Build-A-Figure Terry Funk to match this Dory Funk outfit. Could we get that? Terry Funk in blue, something? That'd be very easy to do with a brand new Terry Funk, younger head sculpt from the 70s or so. I would love to see that. I would love to pair this Dory with Terry, which we can, but I want to get old school classic Terry Funk somewhere in the line sometime. Very happy for this Dory Funk Jr. though. That is the surprise. Outside of Masters, as far as Elites go, that's the biggest surprise because I didn't even think it was a possibility. But man, I'm here for it. Playing all the hits. Obviously, I'm biased. A lot of people aren't going to want this, which is great for me. Maybe I can get 2 of these. We'll see what happens. But that is the Build-A-Figure, and he's in a big man set. That is going to be known as the Big Man Legend set. We got Mark Henry, the return to the Elite line. We're going to join the Hall of Pain. We're here for that. That Mark Henry looks amazing. Been a long time since we got an Elite. You know there's going to be more in the future. I can't wait to get the early days Mark Henry with the powerlifting days. Maybe he can come with some of those bar and weights that we used to get from Mattel back in the day. But this will do just fine. He's even rocking the yellow and black attack. And we'll investigate more top and farther, but it could be Striper. Could be Striper gear Mark Henry. We're here for that. Yokozuna, we've had a lot of Yokozunas. And now we got another one. We get bearded Yokozuna with a very plain robe. I don't mind this. I like different looks for Yokozuna. I hate to say I don't want Dory Funk as a Build-A-Figure because I definitely want him, but this would have been a perfect opportunity for a Mr. Fuji in the kimono and stuff to pair with this Yokozuna in the same set. I wish they would have done that. You know that Fuji's coming. Apparently not this weekend, at least as of right now, but I think that would have been a better Build-A-Figure to relate to that Yoko. And if I was Mattel, I would put a Build-A-Figure together that relates to somebody in that wave to hopefully convince people to buy all the figures to get the Build-A-Figure. That's just me. But that Yoko looks good. Big man, again, Yokozuna. And another big man in Earthquake. Now, this Earthquake, I'm looking over to the side here, see if I can spot my Earthquake figures. Is this a re-release of that like Royal Rumble Earthquake we got once upon a time? What did I do with my Earthquake figures? I don't know. But I feel like this is almost like that Royal Rumble one. I'm sure there's some differences. The head sculpt does look a little bit different. Could be prototype, not sure. Maybe they fixed the scaling on him. Earthquake's kind of been all over the place in the scaling department. But another big man figure here in this wave. But then we finish it off with just a little guy. He's a little guy. You know, if you're smaller than me, you're a little guy, Todd McFarlane. That is the rule. And we got Brian Pillman, but he's rocking the 4 Horsemen. I'm here for that. And I believe this is an upgrade to the, was it a Walmart 2-pack exclusive back in the main event days? Was he with Austin in that 2-pack? Who was he with? But this one has all the bells and whistles of the Elite line and a soft good shirt. Pairs very well with that Ric Flair we got many years ago in the Elite line. So building out the Horsemen, that's never a bad thing from where I sit, of course, right here at this table. So love the looks of that. And then we get a peek under the tent. Once again, one of my predictions was like, how have we not got more Steiner Brothers figures? They're tailor-made for many of these lines. Can we get them? Here we go in the Legends line. We're getting 2 of the Steiners, 2 of them, Rick and Scott, obviously. We're getting them in the Legends line. Makes all the sense in the world. Can't wait. I hope that we see in the future, maybe San Diego Comic-Con, the Monday Night Wars, we get Rick and Scott from right before they broke up. Scott Steiner's got the long black hair and he's got the black goatee. I would love to see that version of the Steiners in the future. Paired up with Ted DiBiase, will be off to the races, of course. And then we saw, was that Tama? I don't know if anybody ever said anywhere, but in the Legends line, an Islander in the Legends line. Look at that. Now, can we get Haku signed to a Legends deal and just be done with it at this point? We'll see, but the Legends line coming in pretty good there. But now we turn our attention over to the Monday Night Wars, Walmart exclusive once again. We got Bret Hitman Hart in one of the most iconic moments of the Monday Night Wars, if you ask me, was when Bret was in his wheelchair, cussing up a storm at that time, which seems so crazy. We were coming off the childhood WWE stuff, WWF stuff at the time. It just was wild when people would say bad words. We've come a heck of a long way, as we know. But this Bret Hart looks absolutely amazing. Can't wait to have it. Doesn't look like there's a wheelchair with it, though, which is unfortunate. However, our friends over there at ringside, use code Kyle, save 10%. I think they have a wheelchair accessory. I got a couple of those knocking around my collection. I will have to dive into that one there. But on top of it, I had some predictions, and the prediction came true. I can't believe it. We're getting Rockabilly as the Build-A-Figure in this wave. We'll get to the rest of the wave in a second. But we got Rockabilly looking extra good in that jacket. Just looking great. Just need the Honky Tonk Man, to pair with him. But I'm here for a little Rockabilly. That works for me. I'm here for that. We also got Goldberg. We've had a lot of Goldbergs, but it's Street Gear Goldberg. So at least there is some differences here. Got the merch shirt as well. And then beautiful William Regal. Hopefully this isn't the end. Hopefully we got a lot more William Steven Regals in our future. We got one right here. And this is probably, when I think of WCW, William Regal, Steven Regal, this is exactly what I think of. So happy to have that. And then another prediction I had, and I hoped I'd see, it's the Ultimate Warrior with hat and painting. playing all the hits right here. I want different for Ultimate Warrior, and I was hoping we'd see more Warriors. I even in my countdown had 2 predictions, and both of those kind of came true. We'll get to the other Warrior here in a little bit, but this is an all-timer. I love it with the cap on. So goofy, so weird, so strange, but so different. As a Warrior fan, playing all the hits here for me. The Monday Night Wars looking very good right there. And then we go to another Ultimate Goldberg in the Monday Night Wars. I don't know. I think I still have a few Walmarts around me that still actually has that old Goldberg on the shelf still. I can't believe that. But we got some new articulation apparently on this one. More to come on all the bells and whistles with that. But Goldberg back out there. I know there's a lot of Goldberg haters. I'm not a Goldberg hater. I don't mind him. He's not my favorite. I don't mind him. My dad loves him. I was just at my dad's the other day. He's got a Goldberg collection on display. It's a wild thing. Maybe we'll film it one of these days for Patreon, of course, Todd McFarlane. But Goldberg coming back to that line. And then we go to the upcoming Survivor Series Build-A-Figure Wave line, playing some hits with this one here. We get the weird Undertaker pants. Some people said it was his. Some people said it was Godfather's pants. Whatever it is a different look for the Taker, which makes it so memorable. I'm here for deep cuts like this. This is pretty darn cool. A lot of reuse with that one as well. And we'll get back to that Survivor Series line, but we also got defining moments. New Jack here, the great New Jack race. Who's going to win? Will it be Mattel? Will it be Pinnacle? Have to imagine it's going to be Mattel, but we'll see what happens. But I believe that is a ringside exclusive, a defining moment, if I'm not mistaken. You even get a little bloody head there. You know I'm here for that. The staple gun. Playing a lot of hits for our ECW shelf. We're ready for that. But now we dive back to that Survivor Series line. We got Randy Orton, another young Randy Orton. Is what it is. He's an important part of WWE history the last couple of decades. We got to have some of them, even as plain as it is. It is what it is. Jey Uso, we're yeeting all over the place. I think I'm out of yeet. I can't recover as fast as I used to, Todd McFarlane. I used to be able to yeet like 3 or 4 times in a row. I know, it's wild. I was a yeet machine. Now it's like I can get one yeet out, and then the other one I got to wait like 5 minutes, and I'll get that other yeet out. But asking me for 5 or 6 yeets in a day, it's just not going to happen. But yeet is back again in the Survivor Series wave, in the red and black attack, looking like a young, Bill Cartwright. Nope, not Michael Jordan, not Scottie Pippen. Nope, not even Tony Kukoc. Looking like a young Bill Cartwright. That's a deep one. That's a deep one. We're here for it, though. But looking good there. And then Build-A-Figure Michael Cole, and Michael Cole missed his neck somewhere in there. It doesn't look like he has a neck. However, that's a great base body for customizers, so I love to see that as well. And Michael Cole, a guy we need more figures from, so that is warranted if you ask me. Diving into some more upcoming traditional Elite set figures. I think these are already on pre-order over at Ringside. Use code Kyle, save 10%. We got Roxanne Perez doing Roxanne Perez things. That's her return to the Elite line. I guess you can call this Judgment Day edition. I guess we could. We also see Nathan Frazier back there, a guy that had 2 main event style figures last year, I guess that was, getting his first Elite. Pair that up with Axiom, and we're off to the races once again. It's Fraxium, Todd McFarlane. Diving into 3-pack category, the 3-packs, 4-packs, Target, Walmart. Very underrated for me. I'm a kid that grew up with box sets of G.I. Joe, He-Man, all points in between. So this is very nostalgic for me. I love getting a box set. I remember as a kid being so excited when you get a box set for Easter or Christmas, your birthday, or a random Friday night. It was always a jolt into your fig fed because you got multiple people all at once. It was always very fun. And some of that magic still remains for me. And we got a Ruthless Aggression pack. Talked about that lately on the channel as well. Will we see more Ruthless Aggression figures as, you know, the kids that grew up during that time frame are getting older? Are they nostalgic? I'm not sure. Do they want the La Resistances of the world? I don't feel they do, but we'll see what happens. But you're playing a lot of hits with Cena, Batista, and Hogan. A lot of hits being played here. And I did enjoy Hogan's run at the end here that is represented in this one. Pretty darn fun, if you ask me. And I don't know. I'm not a Hogan guy, as I always say, but I respect him more lately in my older age than I did when I was a kid. There's no doubt about it there. So that 3-pack's coming. We got this 4-pack, which I know the Mattel team was like, oh, I thought we were going to show it off at Mania. It did leak, but it is the new Hall of Champions there. That's an interesting set. We deep dived into that in the toy news a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of people that have different 4-pack ideas for this one and who should not have been in there. To me, Honky Tonk Man has to be there. Gunther had to be there. I appreciate Dominic Mysterio, but Gunther should be in that. He's the longest reigning. How does that not work? You can make the argument on CM Punk or somebody else. Could you have got a 90s guy in there? There's a lot of ways you could have went. And I do appreciate the Pat Patterson. You got the old timer, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, a way to get a classic figure in there because he'd probably have to be a Build-A-Figure in the Legends line at this point. That works for me. Playing a lot of hits here, but I think you ask anybody, they're going to give you a different foursome. Yeah, I know Ultimate Warrior should be in there. Exactly right, Todd McFarlane. I agree. Moving over to WWE Superstars, the hardest to collect line I have ever dealt with in my entire life, it feels like. I had a lot of struggles. My dad and I in the 90s had a lot of struggles with Rhino Toy Biz once upon a time. Real ones know about that. But this is more difficult. I haven't found the Steiners, RVD, Hurricane, Hacksaw, and Demolition. Haven't seen them anywhere. There's people that have them, people overseas that have them. No sign of them. All my Walmarts this week re-released or restocked more like it. The Ultimate Warrior George Steele set. What are we doing there? I don't know what I'm doing, but we do see Demolition, Hacksaw. Can't wait to have those in my collection. That is an amazing foursome there. We do see Dusty Rhodes, Jesse Ventura. We knew those were coming. The Undertaker, we knew he was coming. But I believe this is the first time we saw one Hillbilly Jim. A lot of people said it's their favorite Hillbilly. We did a poll on the channel, and they said that outside of the Beverly Hillbillies, that was everybody's favorite Hillbilly, was Hillbilly Jim. So we got him coming. Makes sense for Superstars. King Kong Bundy makes sense for the Superstars. Coco Beware makes sense for the Superstars. And then we got John Cena. Did we see that Cena before? Doesn't feel Superstars-esque, but let's be honest, it'll be there eventually. It's like the classic Superstars once upon a time. Everybody's classic eventually, but does look good. Can't wait to have these. Hope I can find them. That's what I'm going to say about that. And now the hits really ramp up here. Was not expecting this one. Many years ago on the channel, we talked about the possibility they're doing Coliseum collection based on LJNs. Could we get Elite lines based on the old Hasbro? I feel like that is a possibility in the future. But it sounds like the future's now like a young Dippin' Dots. Yes, Dippin' Dots, Todd McFarlane. We got the Ultimate Warrior in his Hasbro 2 gear here. That's a deep cut. That's one I wasn't expecting. I looked at it at first and I don't remember this Ultimate Warrior. And then I looked, I'm like, wait a minute. I do remember that merchandise shirt. And it's funny, is just yesterday on X, I was scrolling and somebody posted that picture of that merchandising shirt. So it's a weird kind of thing there. It is that new Intercontinental title belt with this one. Extra head with lack of face paint, which was a prediction I had. I said a Warrior without face paint. Not quite what I envisioned and wanted, but it does count. It does count. We went to the judges already, Todd McFarlane. But we do get the Ultimate Warrior in his Hasbro 2 gear, which is pretty darn fun if you ask me. So I'm here for that. I believe that will be a Target exclusive probably later this year, playing all the hits. How about we dive back to Walmart? Why wouldn't we? Everybody loves a trip to Walmart, as we know. But we do got Vega, Shawn Michaels. And I don't know who else could have played Vega. I guess that one works for me. I don't know. Can you think of somebody who would have been a better Vega than Shawn Michaels that makes sense? You tell me. And then we got Player 2 Edition Rock. Of course, Final Boss Rock. I'm not a big fan of that. Even with the Warrior as Blanca Player 2 version, it just feels... I get it. You're getting the most out of your molds. I get all that. And it does make sense because you can have Blanca versus Blanca in the game. But it just feels like a bit of a coin stretch to me. I don't know, is what it is. I'll pick it up, so I'm part of the problem, is what we're going to say. And then we got Balrog Mark Henry, and conveniently enough, just picked up from our friends over there at Jay's Toys and Games, Balrog Street Fighter Jada Toys, unboxing coming soon to the channel. Mark Henry looking good. Have to imagine he'll come with regular hands you can swap out if you want to. Getting the most out of those Muhammad Ali Mr. T boxing gloves over the years. We had them with Cowboy Bob Orton. We have them with Roddy Piper. Ali a few times, and I'm sure somebody else as well. Now we're getting them with Mark Henry. Makes sense once again. I don't know. But then moving on, some surprise Ultimate news here. Some prototype early stages, probably end of the year, early next year if I was a betting man. EO Sky getting an Ultimate one. So we'll be interested to see how that one ends up doing. So that does look good. The Beast Brock Lesnar, I guess a modern day Brock Lesnar, back to the Ultimate line here. Can't go wrong with that one if you ask me. And then we do got Liv Morgan. A lot of people excited for Liv Morgan first ever Ultimate figure. So those that love female figures, you're going to be happy about that one. There's no doubt. And then one guy that it's kind of shocking how few figures he has had over the last couple of years. He's been in and out of WWE TV, as we do know. Currently out again, Sheamus. But that is a guy that deserves an Ultimate Edition. He had quite the run once upon a time, still dangling around. But I'm here for that Sheamus. Looks pretty good in the Ultimate Edition line. And then this one caught me by surprise at first. I thought it was Shawn Michaels. I'm like, why is Shawn Michaels doing this? I thought it was like a Heartbreak Hotel thing, like up on its side or something. But it's Xavier Woods from his like funeral thing he did a while back. This is a deep cut from one episode of Raw, but man, is this fun. But at the same time, a bit of a shelf killer with that huge hat. But I like deep cuts. I like fun stuff like this. I like different stuff. And that's what we got with old Xavier there. So that looks pretty good. Seth Rollins coming back from his injury. We know that whole story. I don't know. When was that? Against CM Punk. He threw the crutches down. We can react it in action figure form now. How about that? We also saw R-Truth coming back. He had quite the run on his return. Kind of died down a little bit. Now a tag team champion. But R-Truth coming back to the line. Bronson Reed Ultimate Edition, the shoe thief, stealing shoes. He was banned from every Foot Locker in the country, including my local mall. But we got Bronson Reed. A lot of people excited about that. More Bronson to come here in the future, if I'm not mistaken. We also saw some stuff we've already seen and knew was coming, but got a little nice images of it. This Jacob Fatu Ultimate looks great. You know I'm displaying him with that crazy mask. Jake the Snake Roberts, WrestleMania 7. Got to display him with the wonky eye from the arrogance in the eyes. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin, no stranger to anything anymore. Another Ultimate Stone Cold around the corner for us. But now we get back to the 3-packs and we go to the Bash at the Beach. We knew this one was coming, but we're very excited about it. And man, very beach themed in the packaging department, looking very cool. Hall, Nash, Hogan, playing all the hits, and a lot of garbage too. So a lot of garbage with that one, if you're into garbage, of course. But saw all of those. And then they went to the live presentation there, where the Mattel team was there, Matt Cardona was there, and they announced some things. We did see a badly kept secret, as we did see these in that live stream from the Fig Guys. Shout out to the Fig Guys there. They showed off, or Steve showed off in the background, sneakily, the Ringside Collectible Exclusive Coliseum Collection Demolition, up for pre-order right now over there at Ringside. Use code Kyle, save yourself 10%. But we saw Axe and Smash, and I just don't know what to think about this one. Axe makes sense for me. In my brain, Coliseum, they told us Coliseum Collection has to be LJN. Now they've set the precedent where now it's outside of LJN. I really wish they'd finish the LJN aspect of it. Give me the big John Studs. Give me the Paul Orndorffs. Give me that kind of stuff before they went outside the line. But at the same time, Smash was going to get a figure. It does match this. I don't know. There's definitely ways to go about it, but I wonder if the Coliseum Collection isn't selling so well and they said, okay, now we got to dive outside of it. People that could have got one inspired. Is that what they're doing? I'm not sure, but that being said, I'm here for Demolition. They had me at face paint as a kid. They have me at face paint right now. Axe and Smash coming in hot. I'm here for it, and I wouldn't be shocked if we don't get another Ultimate Edition of them in the future sometime. So we'll see what happens there. But if you're after that, it's up at Ringside right now. We did see some more main events. We were all wondering how this Asuka was going to look. It looks like we got our look right here. We also got Rollins and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin in the red is always fun. We got that Ringside exclusive once upon a time. Always a fun look, something different for Stone Cold outside of just the all black we always get. Hacksaw Jim Duggan coming back in the main event one. That's one I want to see in the Coliseum collection, which would be a very easy repaint in the black. This is a main event version. Is this late in the run, Hacksaw? Before he left the WWF the first time? I'm not exactly sure. I really want to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the basketball shorts from his late WWF run. I want to see that figure, and it would be a perfect Build-A-Figure from the Monday Night Wars line. Give me Janitor Hacksaw finding the TV title in the garbage. We need that one, and we definitely need the Canadian Hacksaw. I know, we need it. We need that. So there's a lot of meat on that Hacksaw bone, and that's a guy where we feel like, well, he's just got the blue trunks and that's it. There's a lot to do. The black trunks is one we need. They could easily redo the singlet one. We also really need that face paint version to go with Demolition once again. There's a lot they could do with Hacksaw, and it's crazy because he is a very plain wrestler, but I just explained a ton of different looks we could do. Maybe he's extremely toyetic. Who knows? But Hacksaw coming in hot, and Mariah May's coming in hot as well. First time in the line in the main event series. We know that old ball game by now. There's people that disagree with me, but they're 100% wrong. 100% wrong, Tom McFarlane. Of course, they put it here instead of Elite, where they're saying that's the customer base saying, well, I need Mariah May. I guess I'll get this main event, but then I'll get the real Elite one when it comes. We're going to see that live and in person, but I'm here for that Mariah May. Chef's kiss on her. Big fan of her work, Todd McFarlane. We also saw Cody Rhodes back at it. No stranger to anything in the main event lines, especially. And then JC Mateo get his first main event. Is that a new body mold for the main event too on him? I can't remember off the top of my head. It could be playing tricks with me, but we're not done with him either. And then we saw one that is rather controversial from where I sit. And you guys know right here, it looks like Jelly Roll is getting a WWE Elite figure. Yes, but hold me, Todd. It gets more controversial later on in this video. Stick around for that. I get it, he's been on TV. I get it, he's wrestled. But man, I just don't need a Jelly Roll. And I feel like I'm the old man screaming at clouds because I can't understand Jelly Roll. It does nothing for me. I've heard the music. I've heard it on the radio. I've seen him wrestle. You like what you like. You don't what you don't. It doesn't do anything for me at all. And there's a lot of performers over the years I would rather see than him. That being said, I also understand following the money and making the money while you can. That's what they're doing right here. If you don't like it, pass on it. Or if you're a completionist for the Elite line, like me, you better pick it up. You better pick it up. So we got Jelly Roll coming hot. I will say this, I might not be a big Jelly Roll guy. It looks like him. I opened this up. I know who this is. That's not bad. I'm pretty sure he's got face tattoos, which is always an interesting choice. There's an interesting choice. We've talked about that. We've covered that on the channel. I'd assume, and we know what happens when you assume, is this whole body covered in tattoos too? Is there a lot of tattoos on the jelly? Maybe. So he's covered up pretty good here. And I wonder if the Mattel team's like, we're not going to do all these tattoos for Jelly Roll. But they got the face ones. That's what matters the most. Continuing on here, I'm not sure where this is going. I would probably assume, once again, dangerous. Maybe Mattel Creations, maybe Walmart. Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine for what it is. The packaging is probably special for HBK fans. And let's be honest, as much as I love Warrior, there's people that love HBK the same way. So playing all the hits for them, it's fine for what it is. Doesn't blow me away, but it's fine for what it is. We also saw AJ Lee. We're talking WWE Vault. So ringside collectible exclusives. AJ Lee, is this a repaint from the green topped version we got once upon a time, which is an amazing figure back then, still holds up today. I'm here for this, and this is what I want from the Vault. Give us those same things, but a different paint color, something like that. Make it different. Kudos to them on this one here. We also see Shawn Michaels coming back into action. I believe, was this part of the flashback Walmart line once upon a time? Getting the updated bells and whistles on that one. And it's probably not terribly different. I'm trying to peek over around the corner from that Razor 2-pack we got not too long ago too. Very similar to that. A little ladder accessory as well. And then once again, we're seeing a lot of this Monday Night War stuff. We got DDP coming back in the line. So it's interesting how the Vault gets a lot of Monday Night War figures, but not Target Legend figures. And I think that has to do with you can find all the Target figures. Not everybody can find the Monday Night Wars. So people get another shot at this DDP. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Chase DDP. So if you missed out on that, you got another chance at that going there. Then we got John Cena. And was this a WrestleMania Elite once upon a time? I should just turn around. Just see the back of my head here for a second. Can I spot it fast? I don't see it, but there's a lot of Cenas in here. But I feel like we've had this Cena before. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. I don't know. I have to dig into it. A lot of Cenas look similar. It's basically changing the hats and the shirts and stuff. But we got John Cena. Dual champ, too. So that's not a bad piece of business either. Makes sense. Continuing on, going into some other things here. We heard about this at Mattel Creations Revealed. It was up there quick. I was there in the audience, and I guess I was there presenting, too. But we saw this for the first time. Saturday night's main event. Box set, single cards. Well, apparently it's going to be single-carded figures. Walmart exclusive, very old school throwback packaging. I'm here for that. And Hillbilly Jim, once again, everybody's favorite Hillbilly, Todd McFarlane, coming in Series 1. So cool to get Hillbilly Jim again. CM Punk back at it. We can see some of the main event packaging in the background. I thought that was fun. CM Punk coming there with some updated tattoos. We also saw the Yeet Man. Oh, man, I'm worn out. I can't yeet one more time. One more yeet. I can do it. So we got him coming back out there. And then we got the Hulkster. The Hulkster, not terribly different than Hulksters we've had in the past, but you know there's a lot of Hulkster guys out there that'll pick that one up. So we got that coming there. And we'll get back into more main events here in a little bit. So keeping you guessing here, keeping you guessing. The return of Naomi to the line. It's been a while since we've had Naomi in the Elite line. Got like a see-through, like glow-in-the-dark jacket thing. On brand for Naomi. And Naomi's got to be about ready to pop by now, doesn't she, Todd? You keep track of that. You got it in your calendar? Okay. You better send a present if you're that deep into it. But we said Naomi around the corner there. Tala Tonga, the big man, finally getting a figure. Going to be interesting. You know me. I love my big figures. So it'll be great to put him with the MFTs. Yes, the MFTs. And then, of course, we got JC Jane. Now, we had a JC Jane main event many moons ago. Extremely hard to find. Now we're getting her first ever Elite. A lot of rumors she's cut and called up to the roster, the main roster here, coming off her NXT run. We'll see where that goes. But now we get controversial. And you know what they say, controversy creates cash, Todd McFarlane. I've told you numerous times, but we're at that again. It's time for the LJN portion here. You know me, I'm an LJN guy. I started collecting LJNs as a little kid, so I love the LJNs. I don't agree with a lot of the selection, and I definitely don't agree with a lot of the poses on it. I know people say Kyle's gatekeeping. I always have to go through that thing. But if you make an Ultimate Warrior like this, what's the difference if you do it like this? That's a little change. It shouldn't matter to anybody, but it apparently does. But they're just re-releasing stuff. But it's nice to see something new, something different. We're seeing The Rock. A classic Rock figure here. Classic title belt, too, which looks pretty interesting. We got that. The traditional blue and black cards. We know how that goes there. And then we're back at it with Rowdy Roddy Piper. It will be a little bit different, obviously. But, man, why couldn't they switch the arm positions? Or better yet, give us a new body style, a new Piper in the LJN days. I get it. I know. Not everybody agrees with it, but it is what it is. And then we got Jake the Snake Roberts, same thing. Be very interested to see if Jake the Snake Roberts is bigger. That was a gripe for a lot of people. Not a gripe for me as a little kid. I wasn't smart enough as a little kid to know the difference. But a lot of people complained Jake was too small. Did they fix that this go around? A classic figure if there ever was, but getting a re-release right here. And then the biggest head scratcher of the weekend, or one day, Thursday. How about the biggest head scratcher of Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Jelly Roll in the LJN line. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here? I could understand the Elite, but LJN, but then once again, I take that business step back. I follow the money. You got to follow it. There's Jelly Roll fans that want this displayed in their collection on their desk that maybe don't like wrestling, but they want some LJN action of Jelly Roll. Is what it is, but this is probably the people that complained about Logan Paul getting an LJN. I can't imagine where they're at right now with Jelly Roll getting an LJN because we don't get a ton of LJNs, so each spot is very special. But once again, we follow the money, and maybe things have passed Kyle by. Maybe they passed you by. I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of that. Is what it is, though. You know what they say, you can't fight City Hall. You also can't fight the power of yeeting. Once again, I'm out. Todd, I'm out. I got to recover. I need at least an hour. But we got one more. We got an Ultimate Edition Jey Uso WrestleMania 41 ringside exclusive. Playing all those Jey Uso hits coming on there. I'll never forget because I saw him just like a couple of weeks before that. We had that beautiful work meeting we had where we were at a show together. It was quite the time. We were yeeting all over the place. You wouldn't believe it. Never yeeted so much in my life. Maybe, maybe not. But that is good, I guess, for you Jey Uso fans. A lot of Jey Uso coming at us. We also saw JC Mateo coming back this time. Main event last time, this time in the Elite line. No face paint for this one. I would have loved to seen two different heads, make it a 2-in-1 figure. It is the old special one. He'll always be Jeff Cobb to me, though. I don't know about you. And then we see Bronson Reed, a very cool, improved Bronson Reed. He's had some amazing figures. Those other ones, it's crazy how much they're worth. I remember one time I was on a business trip up in Minnesota. Beautiful this time of year. And there was riots going on at that time. That was the George Floyd riot time, I think. Maybe. I don't know. It all runs together. But I went to this Walmart, and they had, like, on the top stock, there was, like, 20 Bronson Reeds up there. It was wild. And I think back now where those figures sell for, like, $100 each or whatever. I'm like, there's like $1,000 I could have got up there if I would have bought those and sold them. Didn't know it. Won the lottery that day and just walked away. I won that lottery ticket and just threw it in the garbage. Is what it is. Keep it on here. An interesting one that slipped out earlier this week. It was apparently sold at the WrestleMania Superstar. Rumors are it's coming to Walmart. It's sold at Smith's right now. It is the Rock 2-in-1 with fanny pack. Yes, fanny pack. I can safely say I've never owned a fanny pack in my life. Never did it. I even knew as a little kid that you don't want to wear a fanny pack. You'll get killed. You'd get killed walking to school with a fanny pack in my neighborhood. West Side KP, of course. Class of 1984. You ever seen that movie? I always say it. That was like my childhood growing up. Class of 84. It was a wild time, let me tell you. Fanny pack would have got you killed, so I knew better. But The Rock, apparently he can protect himself. But we get the old version in young, 2-in-1. I'm crazy enough to buy two of this figure. I'm not going to pay $100 for it, but if I can find it at Walmart, find it for retail, I'll pick that one up. But I appreciate deep cuts like that. We don't get stuff like that all the time. I enjoy things like that. It's really goofy. Could this lead to possibly like Bret Hart standing by the mountains in the all denim, the Canadian wear that started a revolution that Jay Leno just carried on with? Could we see something like that? I would love to see that. We'll see what happens. Diving back to Ultimate Edition, greatest hits. We saw Logan Paul up close. A little bit better. We saw Great Muta back out there. I'll be picking both of those up. Cody Rhodes, no stranger. Once again, got to get the most out of that mask mold. We do know. Doesn't quite feel as special as it once did. That's the way the old cookie crumbles. And then, did I say there was more yeets, Todd McFarlane? We got one more yeet. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's raw at this point. But we got one more yeet out there, and we got the Seahawks kind of colors going on. Is it Seahawks? Lime green, skittle green, and black. I don't know. We got another one of those coming. That was interesting to see all those. What else we got that we haven't covered yet? I got some repeat pictures here. Oh, we got Demolition coming to the main event 2-pack, the Championship Showdowns. That's pretty cool. Early examples here. Can't wait to see what they do with this. Hopefully they do something a little bit different. We'll see what happens, but Demolition coming in hot for the main event. So coming CM Punk, LA Knight, we see a lot of those. So I don't know if it's going to be so special. Once again, we're looking at prototypes. We'll see where that ends up going. And then we got Solo, Roman Reigns once again. So we've seen a lot of those guys as well. Look good, but do I need them? I guess we'll wait until we see a little paint on those. But we're diving back to Saturday night's main event. We got the Junkyard Dog, Ultimate Warrior, Braun Breaker, and Cody Rhodes for Series 2 playing the hits right here for me. Junkyard Dog, basically an upgraded version of his early first ever Elite. Makes sense. A big part of the old days of Saturday night's main event, obviously. I'm here for JYD in that. I think a lot of people missed out on the classic white, so it makes a lot of sense. Makes me wonder, though, if we're going to get a JYD in the Coliseum collection. We'll see. I guess that is in red over there, so we'll see where that ends up going. But I would have to think that might be the next stop for JYD. Ultimate Warrior. We need more Ultimate Warriors. I don't know what they're messing around with over there. We didn't get enough Warriors, but I'm happy that we got at least 3 Warrior reveals here this weekend. A classic Ultimate Warrior from a classic time period. Intercontinental title. Is this against Andre once upon a time? Might be there. Braun Breaker looking good. I'm a Braun Breaker guy. Him and I good friends. He told me he loves me. He looked me dead in the eye and said, I love you, man. Because I told him, big fan of you and your whole family. And he just looked me dead in the eye like we were this close. And he just said, I love you, man. But I had to look down because he's a little guy. He's shorter than me, so he's a little guy. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. But he loves me, and I love him back. I finally confessed it. I love you, Braun. There you go. But we got Braun. Not terribly different than the classic Elite we got, which was an amazing, where he was like in his dad's gear. But I'm here for it. I think Braun looks good in pink. Yeah, he does. And then we got Cody looking interesting here. A little bit different, and this isn't a bad one for customizers. A little bit of plain Jane body. Not a bad piece of business. Have to imagine there's going to be a shirt or something to go along with this Cody. I guess we'll wait and see in the future there. But that's it for that. And then the last thing I have today. Now, once again, I will have toy news on Saturday. I'm sure we'll cover some more stuff, things that were missed, maybe new things put in the case. We'll see what happens. But it does look like we got X-Pac coming to the Monday Night Wars line. And if I'm looking at this, is this X-Pac? I guess it's DX version. I was like, because I was confused with DDP behind him in this picture. I was like, wait a minute, is this like a 2-in-1? You can use him NWO or DX, but it looks like it's straight up DX. And is that the same jersey we saw on Road Dogg just recently? Could be. Tag team title with that one as well. But this is the Ultimate Edition here. And I don't believe 6, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Lightning Kid, 123 Kid, whatever you want to call him. I don't think he has had an Ultimate yet. So that's kind of fun to see that as well. So there it is. There's like 40 plus minutes of reveals here today. We may not be done. We might see more. There could be a surprising slideshow here in the future. We'll see what ends up happening. But like I said, we will cover it on the toy news, whatever we missed out on. Who knows? If there's enough new stuff that's revealed, we might even do a separate video. But this is enough for day one. I would say a pretty good showing here. Some controversial things, but as we say, controversy creates cash. So we understand how that works. Great to see some Warriors. Great to see more Demolition. Great to see some new talent. Great to see some new lines coming in the future. Honestly shocked we didn't see a Sol Ruka. I figured for sure we'd see an Elite version of her. Maybe Zarya as well. Some surprises we didn't see, but I would assume, once again, I imagine by San Diego Comic-Con we'll end up seeing that kind of stuff. So we'll see where it goes. Be interested to hear your thoughts, though. What did you think on these reveals? What were you most excited about? What were you disappointed on? What are you hoping to see in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day and then some. Got 2 YouTube channels to keep you busy, too. Check out Patreon, YouTube channel memberships to support the channel. You guys know the drill by now. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever podcasts are found each and every Tuesday with videocast on YouTube. So for some Mattel reveals, WrestleMania 2026 edition, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
47 miles of barbed wire. Use a cobra snake for a neck.